वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भगवान श्री कृष्ण, while dwelling upon the topic of how we may successfully, effectively, without fail, remember God at the time of passing, at the time of moving from one body to another, which is widely known as death, though the scriptures are never tired of reminding us there is no death for you. It is the death of just the body. You don't die. In that context, Bhagavan Sri Krishna made some very significant comments. He said in the last verse that we saw, namely the 16th verse in this 8th chapter, that all the lokas, loka is derived from the root lok. Lok of Sanskrit is same as look of English. Lokayati, one sees and one experiences. So lokaha is a realm of experience. We take this world to be absolutely real. Vedanta says it is not absolutely real. It is one realm of experience. You have many other realms of experience. They are other lokas. And all these experiences which have something experienced and someone who experiences, all these realms which have this duality of object and subject are not the truth. The truth is where there is no division of subject and object, and that is what Vedanta is about, to realize that undivided truth. But presently, very much talking in the context of reincarnation, the verse 16 said, starting from Brahmaloka, the topmost, Brahma Bhuvana, Brahmaloka, all the way to Pathala, any other nether worlds, that is, any world, any realm of experience, any loka, all are marked by this feature. A soul that goes there has to return to the earth or visit other lokas. No loka is permanent. No loka is permanent. In this world itself, we have certain countries which many people want to go and settle there. And they celebrate. We got permanent residence, PR. Some places they call it green card. We got citizenship. Now we are so well settled. Wait a minute. Before you realize what is happening, you yourself pack up and go. Nobody can stay in any country, Australia or England, India or Canada. No place is permanent for the soul, for the soul has to pick up his bags and go. Brahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartinaha. Lokaha Punaravartinaha is a punchline. All experiences come and go. Leave aside the words. Our experience as a child is not forever. Those games, those toys, those schools, those experiences in those little classrooms, little benches, little chairs, little tables, a whole lot of that is a world of children, Balaloka. Then Yuvaloka, the realm of experience through which you and I have passed, youthful time, old age. When we are old, we think that is permanent. Of course, that is not. So, Balaloka, Yuvaloka, Vruddhaloka, all of them are for some time. Then the soul moves on. Again is born somewhere. Again goes to the primary school. After a while is in elementary, high school. It goes on. So is there no way out? Lord Krishna does show us a way out. Mam Upetya, he says, when we reach Godhead, when we reach, or with more devotion, the feet of the Lord, Punarjanma na vidyate. Acharya Shankara reiterates it while connecting us to the 17th shloka. Brahmaloka sahitaha lokaha kasmat punaravartinaha. Why are they impermanent? Why hasn't God made even one of the lokas eternal? Let's say Swarga or this Bhumi. Once you are here, you are here. You will not go anywhere else. Why did he not make it that way? Shankaracharya gives a basic principle. Kala parichinnatvat. Whatever is bound by time, whatever has come at a certain point of time, T1, has to go at another point, T2. That which has a beginning has an end is a philosophical truth. Kala parichinnatvat. Sarve lokaha kalena parichinnaha. They are bound. They have boundary conditions. They have limits. Nothing is unlimited. And now he in fact says how time itself is not as we imagine. Time is relative. Talking of Kala, he says Kala itself is relative to the perception. Long before Albert Einstein showed the relativity of time, if the observer is not stationary, the observer is moving at very high speeds, speeds that are comparable with the speed of light. Einstein's theory of relativity of time says time slows down. Everywhere else we say something slows down in relation to time. And the statement, time slows down, is utterly baffling. You take a sheet of paper and make it curved. It is curved in space. But Einstein and the other physicists that followed suit, they say space is curved. How to visualize space being curved? There is literature. There are certain experimental evidence to say space is curved. Wherever a heavy body, like the Earth itself, a planet, or much heavier, like the Sun, and you know the Sun, Surya, is a very tiny star. There are much bigger stars. So wherever there are these heavy bodies, it is very much like space is having a dip there. Some of you have surely read some elementary material on this portion of physics. They give the analogy in order to illustrate what is meant by space being curved. They give the analogy. Think of a plastic sheet, flat, and put a fairly heavy metal ball at one point. The portion where you have put the metal ball of that plastic sheet, it has a dip then. And then if you put a tiny ball at some distance, because of the dip, as the tiny ball is brought near, it moves towards the dip. Like a golf ball going close to a hole and then getting into the hole. And that is the explanation given for law of gravity. The gravity is nothing but a phenomenon that is due to space being curved. Earth is a heavy body, and you throw a tennis ball up in the air, it is again coming back. From a dip, suppose a small tiny ball is pushed. With a finger you hit it. It goes up, but because of the curve, it again comes back. If it were not a curve, if the surface were absolutely flat and there's a tiny ball on the surface, you hit it with your finger, it will just go. But if it is a dip, it goes a little distance, comes back. The tennis ball goes up and falls down. So, in such ways, and with mathematical equations and whatever other logic of science, they have established that space is curved. Difficult to imagine. Time is relative. Time slows down for someone. Time speeds up for someone. And Carl Sagan and some other popular scientists brought out videos. On the internet, you can see those videos. And they dramatized the matter. Two twins of same age are growing up in a town. Perhaps they are called the Siamese twins. And at some age, let's say at the age of 20, one of the boys goes on a certain special plane, special flying machine, and it goes at very high speed, closer to speed of light. And he travels all over the universe and comes after his 5 years. Now we have to talk his time, and we have to talk of the time of the twin brother who did not travel, who remained on the earth. And since time slowed down for the boy who flew, when he returns after his 10 years, very difficult to visualize, but if you study more and more and think about it, picture becomes clear. That boy, after his 10 years, when he left, he was 20 years old. Now, after his 10 years, he is 30 years old. 30 years old. Young. Hair is black. Skin is fresh and nice, tight. No wrinkles. But meanwhile, his brother, who remained at the same spot or same town or on the earth, you can say, has become 80-year-old. Old grandfather, wrinkles on his forehead, and weak, holding a stick to walk, and so on. They are twins, they were born on the same day. But for one brother who went at high speed, time slowed down. So it's not an illusion. Time slowing down is, please don't think that time seems to slow down. No, Einstein means business. Time actually slows down. Therefore, the expression time is not absolute. My friends, so is the matter with Vedanta. You and I hold on to some very simple model of Vedanta, some avastatraya, and we comfortably talk about, ah, I am in waking, then I go to dream, then I go to sleep for some time, then I come back, as though this I is something unquestionably true. This I itself is of questionable credentials. The I in the waking state is bound by one bundle of space and time. The I in dream, another I it is, not the same I, another I, enjoying or suffering, another loka, swapna loka, and it has its own space and time. That space and time and the space and time of waking have no relation. That kind of insights have been shared by certain commentators on the Vedanta, and they baffle us. Just as Einstein's theory of relativity baffled everybody. Slowly, after studying it very carefully, they true. This is true. Likewise, statements of the nature of dream is not the result of waking impressions is so hard for people to understand. But if you study the literature of Swami Satchidanandendra Saraswati, after you patiently go with him some distance, you will find that Adi Shankaracharya must have meant it that way. But on a lower plane, like we say, the popular example, now giving you something very simple, even though many centuries have passed since they found out the sun doesn't go around the earth, rather, the earth rotates around its axis and therefore there's the illusion of sunrise and sunset. Even after many centuries have passed, we still use the language. Look at the sunrise. Or we invite friends. Come, come, there's going to be a beautiful sunset. Let us go up that maybe high place and watch the sunset. And we talk about sun setting, sun rising. Like that, okay, you may talk about you going to dream, you going to deep sleep, you going to, as though you are kind of a traveler. You don't go anywhere, you don't come back from anywhere. On the higher plane, on the plane of the Advaitic truth, you are such chit that goes not, that comes not. And you yourself appear as an entire waking state, entire dream state. And when you don't appear in any way, you are just yourself, that is deep sleep. And all these do not happen on the axis of time. Time happens on you. You are that timeless truth, and time is an appearance upon you. This is the higher Vedanta. Sri Krishna doesn't go to that at this moment. He says, okay, let's not go to that high level of the absolute truth. On the relative level also, what is a day for Brahma or Prajapati is equal to a large number of years. He is going to say the figures for a human being. Therefore, Shankaracharya connects us, making a very crisp statement. Lokaha kala parichinnaha. Time, which is an illusion, makes you experience something, and then that experience ends. So what is this? One day of Brahma is equal to some 4 million, not even 4 million, I will tell you, 4,320,000 years multiplied by 1,000. I'll tell you the mathematics presently. The shloka 17 says, Sahasrayuga paryantam ahar yad brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam ehoratra vido janah. In this world of ours, while overwhelming majority of people take time to be unquestionably true, they talk about time management. That's another popular topic, but having very shallow nature. Real issue is self-management. More you manage yourself, your likes and dislikes, more you manage your urges and tendencies, more you manage your joy and sorrow, the so-called time management is just a sideshow. Your laziness you must manage, your wrong priorities you must manage all the emotions that you have. For that you have to manage the little self. So everything boils down to self-inquiry. You go to a motivational management guru, how do I become more productive? How can I make my business function better? How can I scale up my business? Today I have X amount of turnover. I want to make it 10 times X. Can you give me some tips? And he will tell you how to manage your time, what you should do first, what you should do later, uh, and what you should not do at all. He will give you so many formulas. There is some formula called 80-20 rule. He will tell you, the motivational guru who conducts so-called management workshops, sometimes at very fancy places, the banquet hall of a five-star hotel, and charging you heavy fees. You come back saying, now I know the formula. 80-20 rule. I forgot, I did not notice. 80% of my business comes from 20% of my customers. And if I am smart, I must spend 80% of my energy on those 20% of customers who give me 80% of business. And I should not waste time on these 80% of people who give me only 20%. So you become smarter and smarter and more calculative, more shrewd, etc. Maybe not in a bad sense, within the rules, within norms, and your business gets better. But you go to someone like Ramana Maharshi, Swami, I have great difficulty in managing my time. Maharshi would say again, I have difficulty in managing time. Yeah, the sentence begins with I. Find out what that I is. Who am I? Most people will say this is incomprehensible. But those who get some competent guidance, those who understand the science of it, they realize the management guru said certain things, they are not absolutely false. They have a place. But they are like nth level expressions of a fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is there is a false I with ambition, with grudge, with revenge, with desire to beat somebody, desire to get ahead of someone, with the ambition of showing to somebody who we are, proving ourselves. All these are dimensions of the ego. And this ego is not true. So as you live in greater self-awareness, Rather than again and again making lists of things to do and marking which is important, which is less important, how much time this work will take, and who are the time wasters in my life, who are the people with whom I must spend time. Uh, all kind of judging people, judging tasks, judging communities, judging relatives, friends, judging, being more and more judgmental in the process. You become such a insensitive person. Or you may judge somebody who has less money to be a time waster. And you judge somebody who has more money as I want to spend more time with him or her and so on. Rama Rama. Even after all that, your ego will be stronger than before and you pay a price for it. So Maharshi would say, question the I, and then you realize so many of your values are false. So many of your judgments are false. And the one who is judging the ego, the little I itself, is false. And when that little I subsides, the gate, the gates of unconditional love open. Sages like Maharshi Ramana say that when the I, limited I, ego dies, another I, which has no boundaries, shines forth. The little I subsides, the true I then comes forward. It was ever present, but you were blind to it. And what is meant by limitless I? That is what is said in the language of psychology as non-judgmental, never afraid, where love is unconditional and there is peace, there is so much of giving, and all the noble values of spirituality spontaneously, without effort, emerge from that true I. So coming back to this relative sphere, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam, you know, the longest yuga in one kalpa is the Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga is 1,728,000 years long, human years. We have human years, right? 2024. Now the year is, calendar year is 2024. Year after year, we have the human time, and then there are time zones. Just day before I came to know there is something called UTC. I never knew that. Even last night at late night, I was checking what this is. And interestingly, this UTC, Universal Time Coordinated Universal Time, is not the time of any country. It is a time reference by itself. So, at this time, for example, London time is one hour ahead of UTC. And UTC doesn't belong to any particular country. Some countries may have their time as per UTC at this moment. But when all that daylight saving begins, ends, etc., those things may change. There is something called UTC, time Universal Time Coordinated. Maybe it's from some other language. We'll see when to the end. UTC. It's not same as Greenwich Mean Time. For example, this Saturday, 3 days from now or 4 days from now, I am asked to give a talk to Sri Satya Sai International Organization to their young adult wing. And they have given Los Angeles time 6 a.m. and they have given UTC that is 1 p.m. I started wondering, where is it 1 p.m.? London is 2 p.m. at that time. So UTC then is not London time. And therefore I interacted a little with the organizers. Then they let me know that UTC is at this time 7 hours ahead of Los Angeles time, 1 p.m. London is 2 p.m. and 6 a.m. It is 6 a.m. in Los Angeles. And India, of course, in these days when daylight saving is running. If California is 6 a.m., Mumbai is 6:30 p.m. It was a bit puzzling in the beginning. I said, it's a headache. I'll grab. I need to speak at 6:30 p.m. Mumbai time. I don't know what this UTC is. First I thought it's a typing error. Then they clarified. Now it's clear to me. So we have time zones. We have, in the Google it is written clearly. UTC is not a time zone. It is a time reference. Yeah. Whereas Pacific time, Atlantic time, and mountain time, central time, etc. they say. So all of them refer to a geographical zone, time in that geographical zone. UTC is not with reference to a particular geographical area. It is a time reference by itself. I also may have to study a little more how it originated, of what use it is, etc. But it's interesting. So time. Now, how did I give Satya Yuga? Oh, Satya Yuga is not 4 million. I tell you, let me go clearly. Start with Kali Yuga, X. Kali Yuga is X. Dwapara Yuga, one Yuga before, is 2x. Treta Yuga is 3x. And Satya Yuga is 4x, 4 times. So, if you add them up, one Kali Yuga, one Dwapara Yuga, one Treta Yuga, and one Satya Yuga, it becomes 10x. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 10. So, 10x is called one Kalpa. 10 Kali Yugas, or one Kali Yuga, one Dwapara Yuga, one Treta Yuga, and one Satya Yuga together is one Kalpa. And that is 4,320,000. 10 times 432,000 years, human years is one Kali Yuga. So 4,320,000 is so many human years is one Kalpa. 4 yugas are together Kalpa. I am saying this for one more reason. Commentators everywhere, scholars going by certain criteria, have said this about this shloka. Though Sri Krishna has used the word Sahasra Yuga, actually it means Sahasra Kalpa. That is one Kali Yuga, one Dwapara Yuga, one Treta Yuga, and one Satya Yuga together is called one Yuga here. Language permits sometimes certain expressions to imply something else in a related manner. All right. So, Sahasra Yuga is Sahasra Kalpa, and one Kalpa is, now I'm careful, 10 times as much as Kali Yuga, that is 4,320,000, or 43 lakhs 20,000 years, human years. All right, such a huge figure. So multiply by 1,000 times one Yuga, that is one Kalpa into 1,000, Sahasra Yuga. Sahasra Yuga is Sahasra Kalpa. So 4,320,000 multiplied by 1,000. Very huge figure. That's why, as you know, in mathematics also, we just use 10 to the power n, etc. So already one kalpa is 4,320 into 10 raised to 3. Now another 10 times. That is another 1,000 times. So 1,000 is add more 3 more zeros. So we may say 4,320 into 10 to the power 6. 10 to the power 3 is 1,000. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Ahar Yad Brahmano Vidu. Ahar here is one day, not necessarily just the daytime, 124-hour cycle. So, oh sorry, Ahar is day because second line talks about Ratra. Daytime, nighttime, 12 hours and 12 hours, you may say. Brahmanaha, Brahma is Prajapati. One day of Brahma is equal to 1,000 kalpas of human beings. And second half says, Ratrim Brahmanaha is, it goes there too. Prajapati is one night is equal to, again, Yuga Sahasra Anta. Anta Paryanta means ranging up to, going up to. 1,000 kalpas of humans equals one night of Brahma Prajapati. Who say this? Who know this? Who have this understanding? Such people who deserve to be called Ahoratra Vidaha. Those who know what a day is, what a night is of Prajapati. Te Ahoratra Vido Janaha. Very perplexing, but this is how long back the Rishis, the Vedas, long back in the Bhagavad Geetā, Bhagavan Sri Krishna spells it out. Time is relative. These are all very, very puzzling. Maharshi Ramana, in one of his answers to somebody's question, even says the different time axes are not necessarily parallel. They are not, each axis is not to be imagined as linear, going in a line, and another axis is going faster maybe as a parallel line. There's a very puzzling question. Let's say somebody was born and he remembers his past life, and this boy who is 5-year-old is remembering his past life, very clearly saying where he was in his earlier life, and they go and check with that village. Yes, the old lady about whom this 5-year-old boy says that was my wife, gives so many memories, so many things about her life. And this boy also said, my wife and I had once gone to Kanchipuram, once we went to North India, and whatever it is. The lady says, yes, my husband and I had gone to Kanchipuram. So we stayed 5 days there, visiting Kamakshi temple every morning, whatever. So they said, yeah. But the puzzling part of it, to find it in talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi, the visitor says, Swami, what is very difficult to understand is, this boy is 5-year-old and he talks about his past life. And that other guy who died and has now come as this boy, he died only last year. The old man died in last year only. So even if immediately after that the soul is reborn, it should be 1 year old. Last year he died, last May 2023, let us say somebody died, and immediately born in this family. So 2024 May, as we are now in, that person should be 1 year old. But The person is already 5-year-old. That means in 2020, was the soul in 2 bodies, 4 years left in that life, and already born here in this family? They were so puzzled. And Maharshi Ramana says, no, you are making a mistake. Do not put that time scale and this time scale parallel to each other. The time scales have their own independence. What sense to make of it is not easy to figure out, but it's just puzzling. Maharshi Ramana, he didn't say, come tomorrow, I will refer to some books in the library, this, etc. It's amazing. He just knew. He knew the gati. He knew the way life moves, rebirth takes place. He knows how karma siddhanta works, how karma and karma phala operate. Therefore, on a serious note, you and I should read books, should listen to lectures. It's good, but really speaking, you and I should spend time learning from our own inside. Our own inside. What is this inside? Is there a library inside? There is something inside us which is more than all the libraries of the world put together. The pure self, our true nature, is actually the source of all knowledge. How did Maharshi Ramana know that such a thing could happen? A 5-year-old boy remembers the past life of the Jivatma that he is. He is 5-year-old, but the previous Jivatma passed away just 1 year ago. And how come Maharshi Ramana doesn't express? This is very difficult to understand. Let me think about. No, without batting an eyelid, he says, yeah, that can happen. The two time axes have their own existence. They don't have to be placed side by side and then say, here this life ended. And if at that time he jumped onto this time axis, then he should be 1 year old, etc. It is baffling. Therefore, as we go more inward, with some amount of study, which is good, which has to be done, we should never give up study because we may forget a whole lot of teachings of the Gita and Upanishads and so on. Swadhyayat na pramaditavyam, but then do anushtana, sit quietly, reflect, develop love of God, rise above your own personality. Do not be swayed by mere motivational lectures. How to win friends and influence people. It has a place of its own, but don't be swayed by that. How to become a millionaire, billionaire, how to improve your memory. Some people want to increase their memory. For school students, for example. How to have better memory so that we write all answers in our examinations, get good score. Because they are so bothered about exams. Will I pass? Will I get good score? For that they need memory, especially in our education system at many places, which is highly memory driven. How much you learn by heart, how much you reproduce on the answer paper. But they are all of little value. What is of true value is glimpses of the timeless truth that you are. Go, do exercise, keep your body fit. Go, know what is right food, keep your body fit. Keep yourself as fit as can be, but don't be swayed by this whole literature and all kinds of techniques, methods, lifestyle, etc. Don't be swayed by all that to such an extent as though you are going to be this body forever. Do what you may extend your body's life from 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100, 100 to 110, and at 110, everybody envies you. So 110 also you walk around slowly, you play a little tennis. 110 you do a little gardening, slowly though, everything slow. People say, look at this man, look at this lady, and it may give you some happiness, ego boost. But then at 112, this body is gone, you are not gone. What do you carry? The spiritual wisdom that you acquire in this life goes with you. Therefore, try to understand what this Brahma's one day, daytime alone, equals 1000 kalpas. Each kalpa is equal to 10 Kali Yugas. So 10,000 Kali Yugas. So one night also is equal. Shankaracharya says, Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Sahasrani Yugani Paryantaha Paryavasanam Yasya Annaha Tat Ahu Tat Aha Sahasra Yuga Paryantam. Brahmanaha here means Prajapatehe. Call him Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma, call him Prajapati, or call him Virat. Therefore, Virajaha. Sixth case singular of Virat becomes Virajaha. Of Virat. Of Virat. One day of Virat, or one day of Prajapati, one day of Brahma, Chaturmukha, not Advaita Brahma, that has no time. So, Ratrimapi Yuga Sahasra Kalantam, Aha Parimanameva, same Parimana. So one day and one, therefore I said 12 hours and 12 hours in our way of calculating. Ke viduhu? Aha, Sri Krishna says, Te ahoratra vidaha kala sankhya vidaha. They know how to calculate, how to measure time. They not only measure time on earth, they measure time in Brahmaloka. So they know time is not just the time that we know on the earth. There is time in the universe, in other realms, where probably the ground conditions are different. The perception is different. The perception, the perceiving equipment, the perceiving instruments, because it's a relative reality. If you are wearing blue glasses, the wall looks blue. If you are wearing red glasses, the wall looks red. If you don't wear any glasses, the wall is white. So relative to what you wear, the object in front of you takes that color. Therefore, blue or red is not absolute. It's relative to certain glasses you wear. Likewise, you and I are jivatmas on the earth. We, jivatmas, spending some years on the earth, are given this body, these eyes, these ears. We are given this mind also. To some extent, the mind continues pretty much the same way, but to some extent, it is also conditioned by the parameters of the earth. Once you go to another world, the same mind may, as though, to use an idiom, may get wings to fly. So mind is much more subtle, of course. The body is so much gross. Body cannot be overnight changed to perceive in a different way. The eyes, ears, nose, as you know, even in scientific terms, the eyes have a certain bandwidth, violet to red. More bandwidth, more frequency or less frequency, more wavelength or less wavelength, our eyes cannot see. Somebody else's eyes may be able to see if he has some other kind of design and sensors, and it depends on the structure of the eyes, right? So, Jivatma, with all these indriyas, with this body, is perceiving time in a certain way. But this Prajapati perceives time in another way. And ultimately, going to the height of Vedanta, time is just an illusion. Brahma is timeless. In Brahma, there is no space, no time. Space and time are appearances upon Brahma, then they subside. They rise, they fall, they rise, they fall. They are not ever with Brahma. Yataha evam kala parichinnaha te ataha lokaha punaravartina. If the very constituents of this world were absolutely real, we would always be here. But it's a shaking platform. We are on a shaking platform. We are also shaking. Platform is shaking. And then we move on. Somebody else comes. Others come and live for some time. It is like the giant wheel in a jatra, in a festival. And many people come get in. And when they are in the giant wheel, they have a certain experience. They buy a ticket, get onto one of the cradles or sitting areas of that giant wheel. Of course, today you have all kinds of advanced roller coaster rides. So all kinds of, this world is like that. We should not take this world too seriously. We should give due importance to this world. But beyond that, we should know that our true goal of life is something way above this world. So, therefore, these worlds are not permanent. It's not their nature. There's such a dynamism, there are certain laws. They are brought for some time, went away. That's how it works. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.